The return of my Coin Lady channel brings me much joy. I have some brief news to share about the SEC's appeal of the judge's ruling in the SEC v. Ripple case, but I'd like to devote most of this video to addressing an issue that I keep hearing raised by some members of the XRP community. And, oh yeah, there are a lot of interesting, passionate folks in our community. You know, when you have a community the size of ours, because, let's be honest, we have one of the biggest crypto communities ever, certainly comprising millions of individuals, it may be overwhelming. But when you're part of a community with a big enough common interest, you can go have a taste of everything God made. Are you getting my point? A little bit of everything will be yours to taste, and some of those monsters lean toward conspiracy theories. This isn't the case anymore, it's just my temperament and the way my brain works. If you're going to make a bold claim, you better back it up with substantial evidence. Otherwise, I might dismiss your claim as meaningless. Connecting. And if you haven't given it much thought, I might even think you're proposing absurd ideas without considering the implications. However, I will relay the information that has been shared with you, and if you happen to have any proof or if I am missing anything, please let me know. In other words, if you believe that I am ignorant or incorrect. You assured me it was fine, and I'd be delighted to discuss it on the channel if you could only show me something. I won't act as though I don't understand why people are saying certain things just because I haven't seen any evidence to back up their wild claims just yet. So, the question becomes, for example, did the SEC try to stop XRP from taking part in the 2020 bull run? Is it coincidental that Bitwise declared their desire to establish its XRP ETF with the SEC, and that Ripple was set to introduce their stablecoin, USD, at the same time that the SEC v. Ripple ruling from Judge Torres was being appealed? Also really fast. If you haven't already heard, Swift has just stated that they are expanding their testing into real-world applications for digital asset transactions. These final three items are all relatively new occurrences that occurred around the time the SEC filed its most recent appeal. Is it therefore the case that there is a plot or corruption of some kind? No, I think we should discuss it. In the case of SEC versus Ripple, here is a post from attorney James K. Phelan informing us that there has been an update regarding this appeal. In addition, he mentioned that he was the one who drafted the file and that the appeal is now pending in the Second Circuit's PACER docketing system. This legal dispute is known as SEC v. Ripple Labs Incorporated. Additionally, the docket number is 242648. Therefore, what does the docketing of an appeal entail? Well, I had to copy and paste this off the internet to be sure I had it precisely correctly, but an appeal is docketed when the clerk of the Court of Appeals does. Docketed appeals are those that originate with the Court of Appeals clerk. It's my bad, I simply typed that. Instead, the procedure for docketing an appeal begins when the record is filed and the clerk of the Court of Appeals adds the appeal to the docket. Following receipt of the record from the district court clerk and payment of the docket fee by the appellate, this process is completed. I wanted to inform you that something has occurred, even though it's only a filing update. This is moving forward. At this time, it is unclear to what extent the SEC is appealing. In my opinion, it's almost certain now. Programmatic sales ripples, but that's all we can say at this point. Here is the latest information from yesterday, the day after we learned about the appeal. It is straight from Swift's official X account. Exciting news! The Swift network will be the site of real trials for digital asset and money transactions, beginning next year. A crypto expert shared it, and he predicted that XRP debunkers would be ecstatic about it. All wrong with the timing. Haha, I see. Thus, it was inevitable that my first reaction upon seeing this would be one of dread, that some people will draw unwarranted conclusions. A chart analyst at 360 Trader has written this post. It would appear that he believes the story. Also, I don't have anything personal against anyone who believes this, I simply want to be clear. Unless you can back up your claim with evidence, I find it hard to believe you. In my opinion, that is quite logical. You can't expect someone like me to be compelled by an assertion alone, the other is also necessary. If my opinion changes, I will let you know that I do not think that is reasonable. Without proof, you can't be right. Yes, that's reasonable, but 360 dealers claimed the powers that be had this planned from the start. Clues do, in fact, communicate. I'm not sure who they are or what they signify, but the announcement may be seen on the Swift website, alright. I read the entire press release from yesterday, which is basically what this is. Doing a literal read-through of everything on this site is probably unnecessary. I'll be honest and say that it's not really specific. They are conversing in this place. Allow me to read you a brief excerpt from it. Our ability to interconnect various digital asset and currency networks, link digital currencies issued by central banks worldwide, and link public and private blockchains has been demonstrated in recent tests. Moving beyond experimenting is what we're doing now. Well, it seems like we have no idea what that implies. Let it be known that this in no way implies that they are mimicking Ripple in any way. In other words, if you believe that this is causing Ripples to have their appeals rejected, their hammers down on Ripple, and now Swiss are doing these amazing things at the right time, then you are totally mistaken. Several factors at play here. To begin, please understand that not even their website has officially stated what this means, thus we have no idea what it actually means. They're bringing up the topic of cash transactions, specifically traditional and digital currencies. So, maybe this means that a Swift-connected bank could transfer Bitcoin from one account to another. In that case, a bridge currency wouldn't be necessary, all that would be happening is the transfer of the asset itself. Perhaps that is the case, I am unsure. No one ever says it. Each and every bank in the Swift network owns a portion of the cryptocurrency. For the record, that's more than 11,000 banks. Okay, you can think what you want about the idea that the SEC or some other agency in the US federal government is pressuring 11,000 banks, but I just don't see the logic in that. Ignoring the fact that this appeal in and of itself does nothing to stop Ripple from competing with Swift, let us go on. To be more specific, you should be aware that the SEC has already won over institutions when it came to matters pertaining to XRP as a bridge currency, so any appeals regarding institutional transactions involving this asset will have no effect on Ripple. If there's an appeal and Ripple also makes an appeal, then Ripple's chances of winning improve. On the other hand, if they lose them, the SEC won't be able to do much with them. Therefore, I stated that I believe the programmatic side is almost certain to be the SEC's Achilles heel, as it encompasses Ripple sales on exchanges and so on. This gives them an opening to argue that it is completely unrelated to their competitor Swift. Completely null. Completely non-existent. As if that weren't crazy enough, they could also appeal the decision on the penalties and disgorgement, which wouldn't affect Ripple's capacity to do business. As for the institutional side of things, nothing Ripple can do will be able to go on. And regardless of the outcome of this appeal, people can keep using XRP everywhere they go, and they can take advantage of reliable coin-on-demand liquidity, just like they are doing today. Your attention in seeing my video is greatly appreciated. Do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye for now.